नमस्कार। श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृत तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदादतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। श्री रामकृष्ण कथामृतो प्रथम भाग षष्ठ खंड तृतीय परिच्छेद. So this is going to be our last reading of the third chapter of the sixth section of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, first volume, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna in Bengali, Sri Ramakrishna Kathamrita. Sri Ramakrishna sitting with Sri M and Rakhal in his room, and some devotees have come to meet him. Govinda Mukherjee, one of them, and some other devotees, his friends. And at the instance of Sri Ramakrishna telling them that raise your doubts, don't have any fear. Whatever doubts you have, ask me, I will answer everything. What a golden opportunity these devotees they have got, that the Lord incarnate himself offering them to clear their doubts on the matters spiritual. And accordingly, Sri Govinda Mukherjee had asked him two questions. First question was about why the goddess Shama is dark complexioned, and then second question he had asked was what is the meaning of Jog Maya? And Sri Ramakrishna had beautifully answered both those questions. That Mother Shama is dark complexioned because we are so far away from her. The moment we go near Mother Shama, she has no color, she has no complexion, she has no form. She is just the loving, compassionate, gracious mother. So that was the first question. And regarding Jogmaya, he had answered that when the Purusha and Prakriti elements of the Brahman, their union is indicated by the Yogamaya. And then he had given that those two beautiful examples of the images of Shiva and Kali and the images of Radha and Krishna. That one aspect of the Brahman, whatever that aspect doesn't have belonging to the second aspect of the Brahman, what Shiva doesn't have but Shakti has, and Shakti doesn't have but Shiva has. They compensate each other's lacunae for that matter. Same thing with Radha and Krishna. Krishna is dark complexion, Radha is fair complexion. So Krishna, he is adorning that white bright stud in his nose, and Radha is having that blue colored diamond in her nose. The blue color of Krishna she is adorning in the form of that stud. Also, look at their clothes that they are wearing. Krishna is dark complexion, Radha is fair complexion. So Krishna is wearing pitambara, the yellow colored, the light colored clothing. And Srimati, our Radha, she is wearing the dark blue colored clothes, the complexion of Sri Krishna. So that is how they complement each other. So, and that union of the Purusha and Prakriti is the Jogmaya. One who understands this, Sri Ramakrishna says, that he gains knowledge. And then further he told that one must gain the knowledge. Simply talking, plain reasoning has no significance. It has no importance. There is no metal in plain reasoning. Simply reasoning, what is the use? First understand. And then he gave that example of as you climb up the stairs, you reach the roof. Then you will realize, oh, the roof is also made up of the same substances as any other portion of this house. The stairs, the floor, everything is made up of brick and brick dust and lime, and that is all. And similarly, Sri Ramakrishna. So the moment you get the ultimate knowledge, then you come to know, then you get the realization that this entire creation is nothing but manifestation of the same Brahman, same Satchidananda. So, and then Sri Ramakrishna, in our previous reading, he had told Gobind Mukherjee that sometimes I have this feeling of me and you. কখনো বলি তুমি আমি আমি তুমি. Sometimes I also say, Sri Ramakrishna says, sometimes I also say, I'm you, you are me. And sometimes আবার কখনো তুমি তুমি হয়ে যায়. And then there comes the time when it is nothing but you and you, oh my dear beloved mother, it is only you, oh Lord, it is only you. The I vanishes. The I consciousness just gets culminated. It is no more. খুঁজে পাই না তখন আমি খুঁজে পাই না. Then howsoever you may search, you will not find that I in me. It is only you and you. So that is the beautiful teaching that Sri Ramakrishna has been giving. He has in fact given this open offer to the devotees. Come, ask whatever your doubts. I will explain everything. And now Sri Ramakrishna is further going to tell about Ishwarer Roop Ache. Bhog Bashana Gele Vyakulta. On these two topics, Sri Ramakrishna is going to now give us this teaching. Masterer Prati, Sri Ramakrishna. Now he is addressing Sri M. Masterer Prati. আর তোমায় বলছি রূপ ঈশ্বরীয় রূপ ও বিশ্বাস করো না. Sri Ramakrishna says that the form of God, the form of the Divine Mother, don't disbelieve the the aspect of the God with form. Don't disbelieve it. If you remember that during the initial meeting with Sri Ramakrishna, when Sri Ramakrishna had asked him, do you believe in God with form or without form? You believe in Sakar or Nirakar? And Sri M, with great pride, with all his college education, with all his scholarly attitude, he had with great pride, he had replied, Nirakar. I believe in the formless aspect of God. And what Sri Ramakrishna had told him. Very good. It is good that you believe in something, but that doesn't mean that you should not believe that God with form is wrong. It was a great, shock to Sri M that M had studied logic. Logic was one of his, most liked subject during his college days. He was great master of that subject, logic, and to his logical mind, Sri Ramakrishna saying that God without form is also true and God with form is also true. How is it possible? How can the day and night stay together? How can two opposite conflicting views remain true in the same time frame? It has to be either or. And Sri M was never prepared. He had never come across this kind of concept of both opposite things, both contradictory things can remain present in the same time frame. His logical thinking was it has to be either or. Either it is God with form or God without form. And that time itself Sri Ramakrishna had told. And time and again, as we have read through the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, whenever he talks to M, Sri Ramakrishna, invariably, he brings out this point. He keeps on. In this chapter itself, we have read earlier, again he had told Sri M, believe in God with form. It is not that, don't disbelieve the God with form. Fine, you have your liking, you have your faith, you have your preference towards the formless aspect of the God, but at the same time, keep in mind that God with form also exists. And that's what Sri Ramakrishna time and again tells. As Brahman, God is Nirakar, God is Nirgun, formless entity, but when it comes to Purusha and Prakriti. When that Prakriti element of the Brahman gets manifested, it has to have a form, and even that is true. So God says, Sri Ramakrishna says, Roop, Ishwaryo Roop, Obishwash karo na. Roop ache, Bishwash karo. Have firm faith. Sri Ramakrishna says, have firm faith that even God with form also exists. Roop আছে বিশ্বাস করো, তারপর যে রূপটি ভালোবাসে সেই রূপ ধারণ করো. And then, having developed this faith for the God with form, whichever form you like, whichever form you love, ध्यान करो. Contemplate on that form, meditate on that form, keep on thinking about that form of the Divine Mother, that form of the Lord, whichever form suits your mind, whichever form you love. If you love formless, fine, do meditate upon that also. That formless also is a form of God for that matter. So Sri Ramakrishna says, first, don't disbelieve. Have faith, there is form. And then whichever form you like, meditate upon it, stick to that form. So that was the teaching to Sri M. And then Sri Ramakrishna turns towards Govinda Mukherjee and starts talking to him. Gobinder proti. Ki jano, যতক্ষণ ভোগ বাসনা, ততক্ষণ ঈশ্বরকে জানতে বা দর্শন করতে প্রাণ ব্যাকুল হয় না. Says, now suddenly Sri Ramakrishna's teaching direction has changed the moment he has turned towards Govinda. Sri Ramakrishna's peculiarity as a teacher, as a Jagat Guru, as a Guru Maharaj, is that his teachings are very specific to his disciples, to the devotees, looking at the attitude of the devotees. Sri Ramakrishna will teach them, he will train them accordingly, looking at the nature of that person. What his teachings to Sri M are, then they need not be, they are not universal as such, they are for Sri M. Because M has this conflicting tendency in his mind, how can I believe God with form? He keeps on telling him again and again, believe in God with form also. And now, because M has rose to that level of receiving this great teaching of God without form as well as God with form. And now, talking to Govinda, Sri Ramakrishna, again, suddenly he just shifts the theme of his teaching. That, ki jano, you know what? Jatakkon bhog vasana. That as long as the desire for enjoyment remains, the desire for enjoying these worldly pleasures remains, ততক্ষণ, till then, ঈশ্বরকে জানতে বা দর্শন করতে প্রাণ ব্যাকুল হয় না. You will never have that yearning. You will never have that longing, that yearning to have the vision of the God, to know God. That longing won't rise at all. It won't be, you will not feel that longing, you will not feel that yearning unless and until that desire to enjoy the worldly enjoyments is there in you. Till then, there is no longing for the Lord. Forget about the knowledge of the Lord, not even vision of the Lord, not even the vision of the Divine Mother. So that is his teaching. That is now what Sri Ramakrishna is going to tell about to Govinda. ছেলে খেলা নিয়ে ভুলে থাকে. What Sri Ramakrishna says, that the child plays with his toys till such time ছেলে খেলা নিয়ে ভুলে থাকে, gets immersed in playing with the toy, playing once till the time the child is engrossed in the play, he forgets, the child has forgotten its mother, is busy, is absolutely enjoying the play. সন্দেশ দিয়ে ভুলাও ক্ষণিক সন্দেশ খাবে. And if someone tries to cajole him with a piece of sandesh, with a piece of a sweetmeat, what happens? He will, just for the sake, okay, that this fellow is pestering me to eat this sandesh. He is just trying to cajole me with this sandesh to divert my attention from the play. What he will do? Just for the formality sake, he will just eat a little piece of that sandesh and again back to that play, back to the game, back to what he was doing in enjoying that play. That's it. No interest in sandesh also. ক্ষণিক সন্দেশ খাবে, যখন খেলাও ভালো লাগে না, সন্দেশও ভালো লাগে না, তখন বলে মা যাবো, আর সন্দেশ চায় না. And then when his mind gets fed up from that worldly play, when the child's mind gets fed up, he gets tired of playing now, enough of it, then what happens? Then no more enjoyment in playing with the toy, no more enjoyment even in eating that little piece of sandesh. No, he doesn't want the toy, he doesn't want sandesh, only he says ma jabo. He only says, I want to go back to my mother. Ar sandesh choy na. Then he doesn't want sandesh, then he doesn't want play. When he gets fed up with that play, all he needs, all the child needs is nothing but mother. And then it is mother, mother, mother. Then you try to cajole him, then you try to attract him to so many other things, nothing will work. Just the thought of mother, that yearning. And that's what Sri Ramakrishna says, that yearning can never come till the time the child is busy in playing. The yearning will only come when he is fed up with the play. That yearning will only come when one is fed up with that worldly enjoyments. যাকে চেনে না, কোনো কালে দেখে নাই, সে যদি বলে আয় মার কাছে নিয়ে যায়, তারই সঙ্গে যাবে. And what happens? If a person, this child, not even is, he is unknown to him. Even if an unknown person tells him, come my child, I will take you to the mother, what will child do? Child will, the moment that unknown person says, I will take you to the mother, having full faith in that person, in that unknown person, the child will start following him. He has never seen that person in his life. But the person says, that unknown person says, come with me, I will take you to mother, to your mother. I will take you to your mother. আর মার কাছে নিয়ে যায়, তারই সঙ্গে যাবে. He will go with that. He goes with anyone who will carry him. The moment he says, mother, I will take you to your mother. যে কোলে করে নিয়ে যায়, তারই সঙ্গে যায়, তারই সঙ্গে যাবে. যে কোলে নিয়ে যায়. The moment somebody just picks him, tells him that I will take you to your mother, the child is so much fed up with this play, with this game, he now only knows to go back to the mother and anyone, even an unknown person telling him, he will immediately, whosoever will pick him up in his arms, je kole kore niye jaye. The moment he says, come, I will take you to my mother, very happily, with all the faith, this child will just jump into the arms of that person to go back to the mother. সংসারের ভোগ হয়ে গেলে ঈশ্বরের জন্য প্রাণ ব্যাকুল হয়ে. And this is what Sri Ramakrishna says. So possibly Govinda Mukherjee was still attached to those enjoyments in the world. And Sri Ramakrishna, he has hit the nail on the right spot like. So Sri Ramakrishna says, সংসারের ভোগ হয়ে গেলে ঈশ্বরের জন্য প্রাণ ব্যাকুল হয়ে. Only when you develop, when you are finished with the enjoyment of these worldly things, then you develop this yearning for the Lord. Not till then. Till the time, like the child. The exact example Sri Ramakrishna has given to bring this point, hit it straight to our heart, hit it straight to our mind. Unless until the worldly enjoyments are not over, nobody will even think about there is something divine, there is something spiritual, path that we have to lead. Nobody will think of it. But the moment we get fed up with this worldly life, when we get fed up with these worldly enjoyments, with this worldly play of Maya, delusion, then suddenly we start remembering our mother. And then what happens? Whosoever tells us, come, I will take you to mother. And he just opens his arms and we will just rush, the child will just rush to those arms for that person to pick him and take him to his mother. সংসারের ভোগ হয়ে গেলে ঈশ্বরের জন্য প্রাণ ব্যাকুল হয়ে. কি করে তাকে পাবো কেবল এই চিন্তা হয়. And then once that yearning sets in, then there is only one thought in the mind. How can I see my mother? How can I realize him? How can I get to know of him? How can I attain him? That is the only concern once that worldly part is over. যে যা বলে তাই শুনে. And when such a stage comes, then you listen to anything anyone tells you about God. Then you don't like to listen to any other stories. Then you are not interested in happening to know what is happening where. You are not interested to know what is happening in the world. You are not at all. Whosoever talks about God, je ja bole tai shune, you will only like to listen only to one who talks nothing about God. That is the stage one reaches. That is the stage one ends up when one is fed up with the worldly enjoyments, one is fed up with the worldly play. And then, while talking to this, Sri Ramakrishna suddenly he becomes inward. He has told Sri M that don't disbelieve God with form. And here to Govinda Mukherjee he has told that till the time the desire for worldly enjoyments is there, the yearning for the mother will never set in. But the moment one has finished the enjoyments, one has finished that the element of enjoying the worldly pleasures and pains, either enjoying or suffering, whatever. But once one has got fed up with these worldly affairs, then the yearning sets in. And once that yearning sets in, thinks nothing about Lord, thinks nothing but the mother. And after this teaching, Sri Ramakrishna suddenly he becomes inward, and then Swagata, he talks to himself. My master is talking to himself. See, now, having heard all these teachings from Sri Ramakrishna, Sri M suddenly becomes inward and starts thinking about this great teaching that Sri Ramakrishna has taught to him as well as to Govinda. And he also keeps on reflecting. Sri M is now reflecting on what Sri Ramakrishna has told to Govinda also. ভোগ বাসনা গেলে ঈশ্বরের জন্য প্রাণ ব্যাকুল হয়. Now, Sri M's mind is totally fixed on this teaching of Sri Ramakrishna. As the meeting comes to an end, Sri M is now thinking to himself that yes, so true it is that the master has said that bhog vasana gele, once the desire for enjoying these worldly temptations goes off, Ishwarer Janyu Pran Bakule, only then the yearning for the Lord arises in the mind. Then comes the longing for the God. Then one starts feeling being separated from the mother. So, that was the most important teaching, although given to Govinda. But Sri M is also reflecting upon it. And that was Sri Ramakrishna's teaching to end this 6th section of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, 1st volume. Bhog Vasana Gele, Ishwarer Jonno Pran Bakul Hoy. Om Namah Shri Bhagavate Ramakrishnaaya. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ramakrishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.